Advent A to Z, we're at the letter H for Hanukkah, which is another name for the menorah, which is at the center of the Jewish feast day of the Festival of Lights. Previously, this feast day was known as the Feast of the Dedication. So where does this come from? Well, we have to go back to the 2nd century BC. Alexander the Great dies, and Antiochus is the general of the Greek Empire. And he decides to impose Greek customs, laws, and religion throughout the empire. This was resisted by the people of Israel, and therefore Judaism was then outlawed with the threat of torture, execution, and death. We learn about the origins of the Feast of the Dedication in the book of Maccabees. You will find this book, Maccabees 1 and 2, in Catholic Bibles and in Orthodox Christian Bibles. It was later removed by most Jewish canons of Scripture, and in most Protestant translations of the Bible, they have also removed them. However, we'll see that Jesus, in fact, celebrated this feast day. And so what happened? Well, when Judaism was outlawed, there was in the Maccabees, we read of the account of the execution of Hannah and her 7 sons. We read of the execution of Eleazar, a faithful and old Jewish scribe. And then Judas Maccabeus and his 5 sons start this revolt against the empire. And over 30 years, they raised an army that defeated the Greeks. They reclaimed the temple in Jerusalem. And the feast comes from the rededication of the temple, the purification of the temple, and reclaiming it for Israel. During this rededication, there was a dedication in the sanctuary where the consecrated oil that was going to light the menorah, they only had enough oil for 1 day. But miraculously, the oil burned for 8 days. And this is why today the festival, the Feast of Lights, is celebrated for 8 days. We read in the Gospel of John that Jesus was celebrating the Feast of the Dedication in Jerusalem, and it was winter. So this is the same time of the year that we celebrate Hanukkah. And so it is a great memorial of remaining faithful to God, not abandoning hope, trusting that God will be with us against any opposition. And this is, of course, celebrated by the Jewish people and the miracle that God provided oil for the 8 days to reconsecrate.